Hello, you're watching ABC News and Merry Christmas. I'm Lara Hines. The New South Wales Premier has thanked volunteer firefighters for their service as they spend their Christmas backburning and strengthening containment lines across the state. Gladys Berejiklian and Rural Fire Service Commissioner Shane Fitzsimmons visited firefighters in North Richmond for a Christmas feast. A minute's silence was also observed for two volunteer firefighters who died last week. Commissioner Fitzsimmons has thanked all those who made the effort to give back.
The thing that makes this so special is the outpouring of support and community from volunteers in the community. During the week they put a couple of Facebook messages out, and there's been people coming in this morning, mums and dads, kids, nans and pops, local residents. They're coming in because they knew the firefighters, they knew the incident management team was going to be hard at it again today, and they've lifted the spirits. They've come dressed in Christmas finery, hats, shirts, baubles, you name it, it's all there. Not only are they serving meal, but they're serving spirit, and they've also recognised that a lot of the firefighters are going without, so there's piles under the Christmas tree of presents, and they're handing out presents, they're handing out hamper packs. So the trucks are going to be loaded up a bit more today, the control centre is going to be loaded up a bit more today, with all that expression of love. Meanwhile,
South Australia's Country Fire Service Chief has thanked his volunteers for sacrificing Christmas Day to battle bushfires. The Salvation Army has put up a Christmas lunch for around 200 firefighters working today across the Adelaide Hills, with local businesses also donating supplies. CFS Chief Mark Jones says today's lunch will give crews the boost they need before conditions worsen over the weekend. Prime Minister Scott Morrison has thanked firefighters, surf lifesavers and members of the Australian Defence Force for sacrificing time with their families to serve their communities this Christmas. Appearing alongside his wife Jenny, the couple have praised the Australian spirit in the face of droughts, floods and bushfires in 2019. The opposition leader Anthony Albanese has used his Christmas message to praise Australians' commitment to community and service. Mr Albanese spent part of the day at the Exodus Foundation's annual lunch in Sydney's West. Earlier, the Labor leader paid homage to the hard work of firefighters and volunteers during the bushfire crisis. Around 1,500 Australian Defence personnel are spending Christmas Day on deployment overseas and have sent messages to loved ones back home. Here's Defence correspondent Andrew Green. A man is fighting for life in hospital after he was rescued off rocks in Sydney South. Police are now trying to work out how the 50-year-old ended up in the water in the first place. Reporter Mark Reddy has more. More than 500 homes are still without power in Brisbane after lightning strikes down several power lines. The storm system brought heavy rain to parts of Queensland's southeast and downed around 20 power lines in Brisbane last night and this morning. More than 18,000 homes lost power. Energix say they expected to have it restored later this afternoon. A forest fire has encroached on the central Chilean city of Valparaiso, destroying about 50 houses. The city's entire fire service is tackling the blaze with help from neighbouring areas and the military. Two districts at greatest risk have received an order to evacuate. Authorities are investigating suspicions that the fire may have been deliberately lit. Another Australian victim has been publicly identified from the White Island volcano tragedy. 43-year-old Chris Cozad died of his injuries while in hospital 5 days after the eruption. Mr Cozad has been on the cruise for his 20th wedding anniversary and is survived by his wife and two daughters who remained on the cruise ship when he took a day tour to the volcano. The search has been suspended for two missing people, including Sydney teenager Winona Langford and a Kiwi guide. US President Donald Trump has brushed off the possibility that North Korea could be preparing a long-range missile test. Earlier this month, Pyongyang warned of a possible Christmas present for the US as talks about denuclearization of the Korean peninsula have stalled. Mr Trump says the United States will deal with any surprise very successfully. Speaking at his home in Florida, he joked that the North Korean leader Kim Jong-un might send him something other than a missile.
We'll find out what the surprise is and we'll deal with it very successfully. And let's see what happens. Everybody's got surprises for me, but let's see what happens. I handle them as they come along. Maybe it's a nice present. Maybe it's a present where he sends me a beautiful vase.
A police officer has saved the life of a small child who was brought into Perth's main police station choking. The distraught parents ran into the front foyer of the station, holding their child just before midnight last night. Acting Sergeant Jason Lee came out from around the counter and started tapping the child on the back. He was able to dislodge a half-eaten biscuit and hand the toddler back to his relieved parents. A group of rangers and students from a remote Arnhem Land community are taking control of their feral pig populations with the help of native bush foods and tracking devices. The project means the group is able to better track the animals and control their numbers, which could prove critical if African swine fever were to jump across the sea into Australia's north. Despite the rise of streaming services, a trip to the movies on Boxing Day remains a permanent fixture for many people. Already this season, the 9th Star Wars movie, which is titled The Rise of Skywalker, grossed $18 million on its opening weekend. While blockbusters still generate the bulk of ticket sales, cinema owners say it's the smaller films that keep the industry afloat throughout the rest of the year. And that's ABC News for now. I'm Lara Hyams. Stay with us. Compass is coming up next.